Now, the fishing update is great. Look at everybody fishing together, having the time of their life. You already know this guy's going for bestiaries, and you already know this guy's probably fishing 12. Might be a slight over-exaggeration. But my point is, the update's got a bit of everything for everyone, but today, we're going to be taking a look at something that has been released with the update, maybe not completely fishing related. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Flaming Flay is an upgrade to the Soul Whip. Technically a melee weapon and technically a sword, but at the same time, it's not really, is it? For those of you who don't know how this sort of weapon works, you basically right-click and it kind of shoots the fishing rod, but doesn't. It's a weird weapon, but it can be pretty good in certain situations. But yeah, it is technically a melee weapon, even though it isn't really. We're basically just going to be seeing what this weapon can really do. Now, of course, we're going to be taking a look at damage, but there's also other things we should take a look at too, like its insane healing capabilities. Now, first of all, the Soul Whip gives 145 base damage, 175 strength, it deals 2 times damage to sea creatures, and of course the Flay ability. We compare that to the Flaming Flay, we're getting better base damage, better base strength, we're also getting a base 25 ferocity, and 3 times damage to sea creatures rather than 2. Now, our Flay ability is a bit better too, considering we heal 1% health for each enemy hit. And with a requirement of fishing 47 to use, it's gotta be pretty good, right? Well, that's what we aim to find out today, considering, well, the Soul Whip used to be usable, but it kind of faded off as time went on. Now, as I mentioned before, the Flaming Flay is a direct upgrade to the Soul Whip, so you need a Soul Whip to craft a Flaming Flay. You're also going to need some Braiding Griffin Feathers, a Hotspot Water Orb, which is the most expensive thing in the crafting recipe, a Lava Water Orb, and also a Brimstone Handle, which you can drop from the Ragnaroks. A clean Flaming Flay is going to set you back around about 90 to 95 mil. The one I've got here with the craft cost of around about 160. So first of all, we're going to do a simple damage test against some, well, a variety of different mobs in Skyblock, just to see what we're kind of dealing with. This does have Soul Eater on it, so 600k damage is okay. How about Zealot Bruises? 770, oh, 1.2. Yeah, okay, we deal some damage, we deal a decent amount of damage. I mean, after all, this weapon has, I guess, decent base stats. Moving to the Crimson Isles, and we can deal 1 million damage to these magma cubes. Now, right click is fine against pretty much everything here. But after all, we deal 3 times damage to sea creatures, and we have some nice ferocity, so we need to test that. But just before we do, at the moment, we're actually trying to beat the population of Andorra with subscribers. The population of Andorra is around about 80,000 people, and once we reach 80,000 subscribers, we're actually going to be visiting Andorra, and we'll be able to claim that we have more subscribers than the population of the whole country, which would be pretty cool, so make sure to subscribe to make that happen. Also, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. Now, for those of you who don't know, majority of these new sea creatures that have been added in this fishing update, they take damage in a bit of a strange way. They basically just take a lot less damage from magical weapons. For instance, most people use a Hyperion to kill the fishing mobs, or maybe they did before. However, these new fishing mobs take way more damage from regular melee hits. You know, bows are really good against them as well, however, a lot of the time you don't get the loot share, which is kind of strange. But of course, that's why we have something like the Flaming Flay, so we need to fish something up, or at least someone else needs to fish something up. And we can give it a test just to see, because it does have a lot of ferocity as a base stat, which should be pretty interesting. It's relatively hard to demonstrate how good this weapon is against water sea creatures, because majority of the time, people are killing the mobs like straight away. So what we really need is a really healthy fishing mob, which might take a while to spawn, not gonna lie. Like, after all, if we can kind of say that, you know, our Flaming Flay is probably gonna do 600 or 700k damage against regular mobs, times that by 3, I mean, it's gonna one-hit most things. That's what I'm saying. Okay, here we have a Tiki. Seems to be kind of getting melted, not gonna lie, but I don't know if that's just completely me. It's probably not. I don't even have my G-Drag on. I think Yig also has a Flaming Flay. That was kind of quick compared to what I've seen before. But there were so many people hitting, I have no idea how much damage I was doing, which is kind of annoying. I don't know, there's not really any secret that it's going to be good against sea creatures. I mean, 3 times damage, even though it doesn't probably mean 3 times, in the sense of if you do 600k, you're going to do 3 times. It's probably more based on the base damage. It's still a lot of damage, and it is probably one of the best ways to kill these new sea creatures. But let's see what else it can do. As I mentioned before, I've heard that this weapon is really good for healing, because every time you right-click and hit something, you're going to be healing. So we're going to go test it out, because I haven't tested it out for myself, and we're going to see how good it really is. So yeah, we're gonna build on the healing capabilities, and we're gonna go into a dungeon, and well, we're gonna go in for floor 7 without a tank setup, and we're gonna see if we can basically try to tank it and not die using this. So we're taking quite a lot of damage, but we're also healing quite a lot because well, we can simply just use our flaming flay. I feel like you probably maybe see more of the healing capabilities against ghosts, to be honest, but this is still okay. Something I will say as well is the flaming flay it's okay for clear. It's not the best. I think something like a Terminator or a Juju would still be better. Okay, let's see how quickly we can heal here. Okay, interesting. Maybe we try that again. Might have something to do with the fact that we were using non-dungeonized Necron. Let's not talk about it. This is an M4 instead, but I'm using different armor, so you know, maybe we can give ourselves a little bit of help. Be nice to take a bit of damage. Okay, there we go. And then we can try and heal up. Okay, that works a lot better. Way better. I think it's definitely a nice accessory to have if you're probably going to be tanking. I mean, well, yeah, okay. This is much better. You can actually tell that it's doing something now. Like, we can completely tank this Lost Adventurer in M4, and I'm really low cutter. So this is okay, you know? This is pretty decent. I'll take it. I didn't think it'd be this good for healing, because I've already tested it for probably like a good half an hour in dungeons, and I was a little bit underwhelmed, I'm not going to lie, but I guess it's just, you have to have somewhat of a setup to try and, you know, build on. Now, is it the best healing item in Skyblock? That's up for debate, but it's definitely an option. Now, Soul Whip always used to be good for ghosts, so, well, let's see. I mean, I guess it works pretty well because it deals a decent amount of damage, and if you do get low, then you're going to be healing quite a lot because it's pretty good for healing. You're just getting help straight back. The only thing is I just don't really see much benefit of. I don't really see how this is really much better than just a regular melee weapon like a Dark Claymore if you were going to go for ghosts. You know, I never really use the Soul Whip, and I find it really difficult to actually gauge my range. You've got to aim way lower than you've actually got to aim. I just feel like it's a bit more annoying for certain things than a regular melee weapon. I guess the only thing is this is a Fishing 47 requirement, and something like a Claymore is a M7 completion. Even a Giant Sword's probably going to deal more damage than it, though. I mean, it's one hitting regardless. Right, so I wasn't really taking any damage, but I have, for some reason, unenchanted Necron armor, which doesn't have protection or growth or anything, so now we can actually take damage to see actually how good it is for healing, and wow, it's very good for healing. Okay, I feel like this kind of shows off just how good for healing it is, even more than we could really see in dungeons. So if we take some more damage, okay, then we get down to like really low damage, really low health, sorry, okay, there we go. And we can just, oh wow. It's crazy because the stats don't really tell the full story, because you'd think 1% health per hit is not that good, but we've literally just got from almost nothing to full health in a couple of hits, which is kinda crazy. If you use it right, you just don't die. I'm gonna try it again. Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, if it wasn't for me skill issuing and missing all of the mobs, then yeah, it's crazy good. But all in all, the Flaming Flay is pretty versatile. It's got a few different uses, which is nice and refreshing because, well, most items and weapons don't. It's decent for combat in dungeons, it's decent for combat outside of dungeons, it's good for combat against fishing mobs, it's good for healing. It's quite nice, actually. And for the price, I don't think it's bad at all. You could easily spend more money on a worse item. I mentioned before that against ghosts, I mean, it is good for killing in mass and it is decent for clearing, but at the same time, maybe it's just due to me not being used to using a weapon like that. I just kept missing and not aiming at the right height. But in actual fact, if you think about it, if you were to replace that with a Claymore for ghosts, then you wouldn't have a healing item. You wouldn't really have something that's good for dungeons unless you're really, really late game and you go in for LCM. Because in actual fact, you get probably a lot more bang for your buck in something like a Flaming Flay as opposed to a regular melee weapon. No, that's for sure. Anyway, let me know what you think of the Flaming Flay in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.